Hi, everyone. It's Paul Ward here, and welcome to another 15 minutes. I'm very excited today. We're talking everything weddings, and my guest is an expert in the field, Rebecca McCormick with Red Door Events and McCormick Home Ranch. Rebecca, welcome to 15 minutes.
Hi there, Paul. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So you've been in the wedding business for a while now. Uh, is that correct?
Yes, yes. Our venue, McCormick Home Ranch, started in 1998. That was the first year. And then I personally have been involved since the year 2000.
Okay. And did you just say this is something that I want to get into? I mean, was that your background? How did you just kind of jump into that?
Well, it was when my mother-in-law, Sally McCormick, she's a kind of the person who got us all into the wedding business. So she launched the wedding business at McCormick Home Ranch in 1998. That's after she married her last three sons within an 18-month time period.
Oh, wow. At
She
the
had,
at the
yeah,
ranch.
she,
At
yeah,
the
she
ranch.
had, she had three weddings, and she was looking for another source of income. And she said, you know what, I'm going to try this.
Hmm.
And she really was one of the first venues in our county.
Wow.
And then,
And so she brought you in, or you said, "Hey, I could do this as a profession."
well, it was my husband, actually, Jack, who noticed the first year everything happening, and he said, you know what, we want to be a part of this. So he went out and he purchased a dance floor to see how is this going to work. So our initial investment was the dance floor. We used that for a year. It came out every weekend.
Hmm.
And then he borrowed actually money from his mom. And I think it was at about an 8 or 8.5% interest that she charged to purchase the tables and chairs, and some very simple linens.
Uh-huh.
And then that's how he added to inventory. We added to inventory that second year. And then boom, here we are. And then by the year 2000, I was working, but then I went ahead and came over into the business. And by 2003, I had resigned from my profession and just was completely involved in the business, and I have been ever since.
Wow. And so I imagine it's grown from what, one dance floor to anything a bride could want.
Yes, yes. So at the ranch, little bit different from other venues. We do have in-house rentals, so tables, chairs, linens, heaters, vintage bar trailer, just wine barrels, just a lot of different pieces from your kind of basic piece up to other upgraded pieces. And then at the ranch also, we do offer open catering.
Okay.
So we invite any type of food or caterer to kind of come out to the ranch as well.
And
So
it's an outdoor venue, right? You're sitting outside in a big lawn with a historic colonial farmhouses is the backdrop.
exactly. So the McCormick Ranch itself was originally built in 1918.
Oh, wow.
So that was when my husband's great grandfather and great uncles emigrated from Ireland. And Thomas McCormick, he lived there at the McCormick Ranch with his wife Elizabeth, Lizzie,
Hmm.
McGrath was her maiden last name. So then they had three sons. It was Hubert, Jimmy, Joe, Johnny, and Mary. So those were all of the kids there. And then later my husband's grandparents, um, Billy and Jimmy, moved into the McCormick Home Ranch there. They lived there for a few years, many years. And then my husband's mother, his family, his mom and dad, Sally and Bub, moved in the late 70s.
Okay, so it's a been in the family since it was built back in 1918. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah. And it is colonial style. And the whole purpose is for the family to keep on living there.
Mhm.
And so to do that, we do, also ranch avocados, but we've opened up our doors to the community and to other people who want to come and get mostly weddings,
Mhm.
but we do quinceañeras and retirement parties, corporate events, as you know,
Hmm.
birthday parties, graduations. Some schools have come over and they'll do their prom at
Hmm.
our ranch as well. So, and fundraisers. We are very
Okay.
supportive of local events and fundraisers in the area.
Okay. Now, I imagine that weddings have changed over time. The wants and needs of brides is kind of, everything changes in life. And what a bride wants today is probably not what she wanted 5, 10, 15 years ago. What have you seen? What are the changes that you've seen in this industry?
A lot of changes in style.
Mm,
So a lot of couples, and I think it's just with social media and the fact that you can kind of look and get anything off Etsy, you could order stuff off Amazon, and you're just open to seeing more. With seeing big couples can see what's out there. So couples like to kind of put their own little stamp on their wedding and make it
mhm,
very unique and very much themselves. So, and that goes hand in hand with the fact that they can bring in any type of food. So
mm,
we're seeing a lot of, they'll bring in pizza ovens, as they've been very popular over the last couple of years. These,
really?
yeah, wood fire pizza ovens or larger trailers, things like tacos. Of course, food trucks. We have the space to bring in, a few food trucks if you'd like for your event. So that's been very popular as well.
So you've
Uh,
seen that for at weddings, pizzas and food trucks?
yeah. Oh yeah. In and Out, Habit, just to name a few. Sometimes couples are from two different cultures, so they'll bring
Mm,
two different types of food into the event. So that's been very interesting. The other interesting aspect is sometimes they want a little bit more of a casual feel. Like you mentioned, we are an outdoor ranch facility. We have beautiful gardens, but they want a kind of an outdoor, relaxing, sip your cocktails, drink your wine type day.
mhm.
And now we're seeing cornhole come out, giant Jenga, lawn games at
Yeah.
at weddings. So it's been great.
And it's kind of, I mean, it's neat too because I mean, there's still the traditional church option, right? But here
Absolutely.
you're getting married and then you literally just turn around and the party starts. It's not like you have to, leave the venue, leave the church, leave the venue, and then everybody congregates again an hour later at the reception hall.
No,
You're kind of like a one-stop shop.
exactly. It's a celebration from the minute everyone parks their car, they walk into the venue. Many times they're greeted with with being able to have a drink before the ceremony, find your seat, have the ceremony in one of our gardens.
Hmm.
And then many times they choose to go to another garden and do a very lovely cocktail hour where
Okay.
that's where people get really they're socializing and they're drinking and they're eating, and then maybe escorted to the front part of the house, which is the big front lawn area, which is where the guest tables will be, and dance floor and things like that. So that's been nice how the way couples have, it's the same property,
Hmm.
but even in over 20 years, I can just see it redesigned by each
Mm,
couple in a different way. And then
interesting.
likewise, photographers come out and they have just different eyes, and
Hmm.
they just capture different shots. And still today I'm like, wow, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. That's lovely. So
Right.
yeah, it's been neat.
Interesting. And I imagine as an event planner, not everything always goes smoothly, right? I mean, you've got weather and you've got a caterer that didn't, got a flat tire and, how do you improvise in moments like that?
Well, experience has helped a lot. So yeah, so experience has helped a lot. Yeah, you do your best as a coordinator and a venue, and to kind of be ready for anything that comes your way. So you
Hmm.
have a lot of padding in that timeline. Working with fantastic vendors really helps. I can't say enough about the vendors that we have here in Ventura County. Uh,
Hmm.
and we do a lot of vendor referrals, and we have some fantastic vendors here in Ventura County, and even a little bit outside of our county as well. But yeah, things happen. Traffic,
Hmm.
flat tire. it's all happened. And so everyone just kind of does what we need to do to um kind of fix fix the hole, or or help a vendor. I've had a vendor once, they got stuck or lost, I can't remember, but they needed to get set up quickly for that appetizer hour.
Mhm.
So we had the serving staff greet them at the gates. I mean, they had limited time, whipped in, helped them unload. And as a team, they got everything, and the display was gorgeous. They got the display up, they got all ready to go, but just in time for as the crowd started walking in.
Wow.
Yeah, the extras, and it was all fine. Yeah, so I mean, things do happen.
Mhm.
Um, Mother Nature sometimes, is a little difficult.
Right.
So we have a wonderful company that we work with, for tenting, and they've come out and they'll put a really huge, beautiful tent out on the front lawn, and and we'll just design it the whole thing will need to be redesigned underneath the tent, the whole setup, but we
Wow.
do it, and there you go.
And you do multiple events per week, correct? You're not just like a Saturday.
No, yeah, no, typically we are in operation Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And then we do offer, rehearsals usually before that. So, kind of our week sort of starts on a Thursday. Um, and then during weddings during the week, we do get some requests for those, not a lot, as of
Mhm.
yet. It's mostly the Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays
Mhm.
working.
And where do you see the industry going in the future? I mean, budgets are all over the place. Some folks are on a shoestring budget, and some folks want to, this is their most important day of their life so far, and they want to, go to town and no expense spared. How do you accommodate kind of all budgets?
Exactly. So we get a lot of that. I've seen so many diverse but budgets happening. So what I'm seeing right now are smaller weddings.
Mm,
So what I mean by smaller is anywhere from 100 to about 130 folks. Okay. And every once in a while, we used to get a lot larger weddings because our facility can hold up to 250 people.
hmm.
See a lot larger weddings, but we're seeing more kind of smaller, intimate weddings with 100 and 130 people. Then we're also seeing, like I said, on the food, on the catering side, they'll choose something fun like the pizza trucks or the barbecues, or tacos, or something that's maybe not a more formal
Hmm.
dinner,
Hmm.
but just as good and filling for their guests. Um, and then we're also the kind of more of a casual feel
Mm,
is what we're seeing as well. Some of our clients, they're already married, so they just come out for the reception part.
hmm.
So it takes out all of that ceremony aspect. They just come out for the celebration.
Hmm.
Then on the other side of the spectrum, we are still getting the large 200, 230, 250. I got last year towards the end of the year, I had a lot of people that went all the way up to the maximum of 250 guests.
Hmm.
Um, with that, I'm seeing a lot of parents are kind of more involved in that, to help the couples with those bigger budgets and support those bigger budgets.
Hmm.
But having a lot of choices in your vendors and who you bring in really helps.
And I would imagine, the bar, right, would make a difference if it's, beer and wine only, or if you've got, mixed drinks, that would probably make a big difference in
It
cost.
it does. And for couples that want to offer that mixed drink or cocktail, great idea. Definitely, your beer and wine. Champagne is nice, but if your crowd doesn't really drink champagne, then you can just toast with the drink they have in hand.
Hmm.
That works great. And then you can also you don't have to do a full bar, but you can offer like a bride and groom cocktail, or hers and theirs, or his and their, however you want to label your cocktails.
Hmm.
You just offer a couple or three very specific ones, and that helps so you can just concentrate on the certain type of liquor that you're buying.
Hmm.
So you're not kind of all over the board.
Now, have you heard of any trends out there or seen anything online that you haven't had come to your venue yet that you thought, oh wow, that would be interesting if somebody requested that, or I might suggest that.
Yeah, not quite yet, although I am still just kind of meeting up with my clients for this 2024 season and 2025 and kind of starting to talk about their new ideas. We are actually a lot of bar trailers. People are really loving those cute bar trailers, whether it's a little horse type trailer or I have a larger vintage trailer that we do bring out for our clients for their bars. So they're having a lot of fun with that. Bands, I got like 4 or 5 weddings last year and they did have live music. They did have bands, and that is always a treat.
Oh yeah.
For yeah.
Such a
Band,
difference. I mean,
yes,
such a difference.
yes.
Yeah. And what kind of music? Does it just run the gamut from country, rock, Spanish?
It does. It does. And a good band can do that for you. A good, like, kind of a wedding band where they do play a lot of covers.
Mm-hmm.
That works. There's a few really great ones out there. And then I've actually have, because of on the planning and on the background, I was able to see their like just diverse list of music. And they sat there with the client and they went through different songs in different styles. So they are ready to go with anything.
You just mentioned 2025. Are people really planning for 2025 already?
Oh, I already have weddings booked for 2025.
Wow.
Oh
That
yeah.
tells you how naive I am.
Yep. Yep. We already have weddings booked for 2025. We meet very actively with clients on the weekends mostly,
Mhm.
some during the week, but for 2025. Oh yeah.
Wow.
We're ready.
What do I know?
We're
I don't know
ready for
anything.
them.
So where exactly are you located, and do you have a website that folks can check out?
We do. McCormickHomeRanch.com is the website. We also have an Instagram, McCormick Home Ranch. And then we are located actually in Camarillo at 2034 East 5th Street
Okay.
in Camarillo. So it's in between Las Posas Road and Pleasant Valley. Right along, there's a little bend in the road, and so that's us. We're open for people to come and visit us, come take a tour, come take a look, see if the venue works for you. And anything you want to know, I love to share my knowledge and experience with events and parties to anyone who wants to listen.
Wonderful. And what's the best number for folks to reach you?
The best number is 805-276-7717. That's a nice direct line. Call or texting works great for me. Yep, that'll work.
Wonderful. Well, Rebecca McCormick, thank you so much for being our guest on this 15 minutes.
Thank you for asking me.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
folks, if you like this episode, be sure to subscribe below to our YouTube channel and tune in for the next episode.
Thanks, Paul. Have a good day.